Hello and welcome to Talk Real Estate. I'm Neil Oja, and like always, every single week, Wednesday, and we are here to talk about properties. If you've been thinking that, oh, the rents are going high, should I be buying a property? Is this the right time? I've just arrived in the UAE, or should I just wait it out for a couple of years, make some corpus, and then invest? All of those questions will be answered right here with our expert in the house coming in from Skyview Real Estate, Akash Kanjwani, who joins us every Wednesday 10 to 11. Akash, welcome to Talk 100.3.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for welcoming. First of all, I will just like to just say a very happy Women's Day to everybody, every listeners out there. I mean,
absolutely. Women's Day, and just out of curiosity, when people come to actually buy properties, whose decision is it finally? Is it the woman's decision? or she says, listen, I don't like the balcony here. We are not buying this house.
Well, the thing is, there are men who come to buy the property, but the closing is only done with a woman.
Wow!
So very first question, sir, are you married? And if the guy is single, he's coming in to see a property and he's looking to buy property for himself, then we say, why don't you get your wife? Because we know it will gonna happen anyways. He's not gonna say without his wife.
Which is true.
So might as well just do the second meeting with the wife itself. Well, having said that, I think women are equally participating. We had a lot of women buyers, first-time buyers who are taking the decision, and gone are those days that only men make the decision to buy. It's the woman. It's where she wants her kitchen. It's where she wants her what kind of wardrobe she makes, what walk-in closets if there is there, and there are certain developers who have started giving his and her wardrobes, because my wife will not buy a house if there is no wardrobe for her completely.
There you go. Obviously, as the decision makers are obviously participating, both men and women, and then it's a joint decision that's been taken. This is a fabulous time to have conversations about buying property, getting into real estate. Even if it's a small place that you buy, you can call that place your own. On this show, we've spoken about investments in property. We've spoken about how do you get a golden visa if you buy a property. We've spoken about various developers in the past weeks. We've spoken about how to become a real estate broker, because if you want to become a real estate broker, this probably is the best time to get in.
Well, actually, the question about how to become a real estate broker came through because everybody was asking that what is the procedure, because there were a lot of people who were curious about how do you work.
Right.
And guess what? We have a lot of CVs who have sent it to us, people who are interested in this field. And we hope, as we discussed, that it's not the brokerage does pay you the highest amount of money in Dubai currently, but it's not easy. It's not cakewalk. It's not for everybody. So if you have certain skills, which I think you should apply for becoming a broker for sure.
There you go. Obviously, yes. The number to reach out to Skyview Real Estate is 050-2859-321. So it's like literally 321, call them. 050-2859-321. Your conversations, your queries, your questions about buying a property. Many a times when people think about, Akash, of buying a property, they tend to get split between an apartment and a villa. Like back home, that conversation is a constant conversation between my mom and my dad. My mom is not fond of villas, okay, and we live in a house, okay, and that was my dad's decision. My dad loves to be on the ground. He is not fond of living in a tall building or whatever. So his call has always been, no, the land is ours, the house is ours. We build it the way we want to, and that's how it is. I mean, all my life in Bombay, I've lived in a house. I wouldn't want to call it a villa. It's not a big house in Bombay. Buying a villa is impossible. But that does that question come to you as well?
Well, very frequently, and that's one of the reasons that we were discussing about the topics, and this is one of the most things. Now, historically, there are cities which are very much on either they are on a villa side. So if you go to Delhi, they will very rarely prefer an apartment.
You're right.
Noida being separate, which just now extension of Delhi. But if you go to core Delhi, they will not say about apartments. For them, it is a villa, koti. Correct, koti. That's what they call it. And they want that.
बिल्कुल.
ठीक है, तो वो उनको they want that road, and that's the posh thing. They will never feel the apartment. When you come to some places like Bombay, it's always apartment.
It's always an apartment.
तो विला तो आप अफोर्ड ही नहीं कर सकते हो. I mean, विला आपको कम से कम 500 करोड़ के नीचे तो कुछ नहीं मिलने वाला बॉम्बे में.
बॉम्बे में यानी कि अगर आप वो अर्ली मूवर्स थे जिन्होंने पहले ही मूव कर दिया जब बॉम्बे सेटल इन हो रहा था, या तो 1940s में आपने खरीद लिया था और उसको फिर बाद में उस पे ही काम करते रहे, तो बात अलग है, but yeah, you're right. To buy a property like that is impossible.
Impossible. And then you go internationally. So you have London, which was very much of villas, but then now they are converting into apartments slowly. Manchester is all about apartments. There are buildings which are coming over there. So every city had this. Dubai has a very unique culture. The difference between the apartment and villas is very less.
Okay.
So you have apartments, 3-bedroom apartments, which are for 1.3, 1.4, 1.5 million, and you have a 3-bedroom villa, which is also starting from 1.6, 1.7.
Okay.
And you have a 2-bedroom villa, which you can get it for 1.2. So the price range which interacts between the two is different. And in Dubai, you have a very different pros and cons for apartments, for villas. And I think today we will try to break it down. What is each?
Absolutely.
Each has it. Where is different. So if you're looking for apartments, obviously you cannot. If you're looking for studio in 1 bedroom, you have to go that. If your budget is below, so let's say 700, 800,000, then you have to go for an apartment. But if your budget is somewhere around 1 million plus, there are communities which offer villas for 1.1 million, a 3-bedroom villa.
Wow, this is incredible. Now, it finally boils down to what is your choice of house, what is your dream house? Because if you're investing in a house where you want to live, you definitely have to make those choices. You have to pick where you think, you'll be spending most of your time, or your kids will be growing up. You want that community feel, or you want to live in a tall tower with all the amenities and everything. So let's try and break it down. If we talk about apartments, I'm sure, like you mentioned, that if you're price sensitive, apartment is the way to go.
So obviously, price sensitive is the first thing that you can, especially for apartments, you're looking at smaller. If you're looking for studio, if you're looking for 1 bedroom, so then the choice is definitely apartment. You don't even go into the territory of villas because you don't get anywhere between less than 1 million, at least in this market now. The next segment is if you're looking for a 3-bedroom apartment, then you have a lot of choices.
Okay.
So you have, if you're looking for 3-bedroom apartments, you have areas like JVC, which start with 1.2, 1.3 million.
Okay.
Then you have downtown, you have Marina. Now, apartments will give you a view. A penthouse will give you space and a view. So if you're looking for someone who wants to be on a tall tower overlooking the sea, then definitely the choice is only this. But you need to consider a few things about apartments. First is the service charges.
Okay.
The service charges normally for an apartment is much higher than a villa. Okay, so basically you have a building and you have a larger common area. Then there is electricity for that common area. There is AC running for that common area. You have cleaning, you have housekeeping, you have security, which in a building does cost much more than a villa community, right?
Right.
And that is the reason that most of the apartment buildings, so in JVC, your service charges for an apartment is anywhere between 12 to 15 dirham per square feet.
Okay.
In downtown, it goes till 22 to 23 dirham per square feet.
All right.
Somewhere in Marina goes till 25 dirham per square feet. And it keeps on increasing based on the services or the facilities that your community is offering.
Okay.
The highest service charges is in Burj Khalifa, which is around 89 dirham per square feet.
Wow.
So again, the lifestyle that Burj Khalifa gives you, which will be there no one.
I mean, that address itself, someone asks you where do you live and you say Burj Khalifa, you don't then need to drop your business card.
Correct. So, there's a joke. If you're living in Burj Khalifa, you don't get Burj Khalifa view.
Which is true.
But then the thing is, if you're staying in Burj Khalifa, why you need to view anything else? You're viewing everything in Dubai.
You are the view.
You are the view. People
the
are looking at you. Imagine, you're standing down, everybody's clicking photo. You're not there, but that's your house. So, but the thing is, Burj Khalifa is one of the highest non-service apartments where you pay the service charges. Then there are areas, service hotel apartments, where you get everything from cleaning, bed keeping, services, everything. So that's Address Hotels, which is one of the top-rated hotels in Dubai. And Address Hotels gives you a service charges of anywhere between 49 to say 59 per square feet based on the services that you select. So you want weekly twice, weekly once, depending on those things. So service charges is one thing that you need to consider. It's going to be higher.
Okay.
Safety and security is going to be much more better than in apartment than in a villa, because again, Dubai is the safest city in the world.
Definitely.
Yeah. But then again, there are some people who are always too cautious. You give them the safest place, but they are always little bit worried.
True.
So in a apartment, it will be rarely, you will never hear anyone coming to your doorstep and giving you door delivery, because they have a very good control. There's security, there's someone who's always checking who's coming in, who's coming not, and all those things. You will not have a neighbor or door knocker or sales guy guy coming and knocking your door.
agree.
In a villa, maybe that is because the security is it's in a gated community as well.
Right.
Security just checks the number, and the guy's intention is sometimes that kind. But in terms of maintenance, so in an apartment, mostly you have to take care of internal area.
Okay.
So if you don't have a maid, it's better to maintain an apartment than a villa.
Right.
Mostly in a villa, you do need a maid because it's more gardening.
It's cumbersome, yeah, because there are so many places and so many nooks and corners.
Correct.
Plus, the exposure to the external atmosphere is also higher.
Correct.
Right? I mean, in an apartment, I think only the balcony is exposed to the outside.
Yes.
Right?
So it's the balcony which needs to be taken care of, which you can do it in a once a month
True.
or once or twice a month, depending on what time of the year you are in. If you're in the summers, I don't think so. Anybody hardly goes in the balcony. I mean, unless you're doing cooking outside with the kind of heat that is there. And but I think apart from that, Dubai is changing a lot. A lot of people are looking for bigger balconies. There are a lot of developers. What they have made it, they are using the balconies in very well. They are putting a plunge pool outside.
Oh yeah, exactly. Some of them are doing that, and they're putting it out on social media that have your own private pool in your balcony.
Correct.
That has caught my eyeballs multiple times, and we'll talk about that in detail.
Yes.
Once we come back after a break, and these are little tricks and trickeries, or are they actually smart utilization of property places? We'll talk about that once we come back right here on Talk Real Estate with Akash Kanjwani from Skyview Real Estate. Right, Akash, we were talking about, should the decision be of buying an apartment or should it be that buying a villa? Obviously, while, people think of personal preferences, there are pros and cons in both.
Correct.
Right? Before going into break, we also spoke about how open spaces in apartments are now used wisely.
Correct.
Right? Plunge pool in the balcony. An ad that kept coming on my Instagram and I was like, wow, I would like to have that.
And it is very practical. If you have a pool inside your house, and a lot of people feel that where Dubai terraces are not being used because obviously it's so this was first suggested by me. In fact, it was one of our projects with Myra was Crystal Residence. Crystal Residence was one of the first building that we gave a plunge pool in a affordable community like JVC,
Right.
in a 3-bedroom, and the price for this apartment was only 1.65 million. This was very first way back in 2016. And the reason we gave this was it was looking posh and it was something very accessible and very private. So one of my client had come during those days in 2015. She said, I don't want to buy an apartment because there's no privacy. I have to go in a common pool. And they were a little conservative family. So we understood that. And then obviously in the building which was already done, we couldn't do anything. And next building was being planned. And I said, wait, can we try this? This looks interesting. And guess what? This apartment, being the 3-bedroom, the most expensive in that in that community, and JVC, these were the first apartments which were sold.
Wow.
And they still keep on demanding. So plunge pool was a new concept, and it's very practical. It's like having your own jacuzzi. It's not a deep pool that you can dive in or something, but it's a pool where you can relax, you can sit, your kids can have their private time. It's not very deep, and also you can utilize the space. So it's not like you're wasting that space. There has been one of the biggest changes that has come in 2019 from Dubai Land Department. The terraces now are not at the same rate. You don't pay the service charges on these terraces at the same rate as your apartment. You only pay 25% of your terrace space as service charges.
Okay.
So that makes service charges reduce a bit.
That's right, yeah. And if you utilize it smartly, so it's not like an asset that you hold without any value.
Correct. So that made apartments with terraces and plunge pools much more interesting.
True.
However, yes, the service charges is still higher than what it is in the villa. So that is one of the cons of having a apartment. And this is one of the drawbacks that it is there. But there are so many other pros that comes with the apartment, as I said. And if you're looking for a 3-bedroom or a 4-bedroom, I think you should have the community, the service charges, and the security and the flexibility, like the easy of maintaining an apartment.
Makes sense.
So better. So if you're looking for something closer to commute, obviously apartments are the easiest choice because villas are tentatively little far.
Far away from the main city, you're right.
Correct.
Unless you're living in Jumeirah.
Unless you're living in Jumeirah, or unless you're living in one of those areas on Hissa Street, which is on far off places.
True. No, this is right. I mean, see, there are advantages definitely of an apartment and security being one of the most important aspects. And I think the security aspect is true wherever you go in the world, that an apartment will always give you a little more security as compared to a villa, right? But villa, if you look at the advantages and disadvantages of villas, the biggest advantage is that it gives you so much privacy. It's your own space. You enter whatever time you want to enter. You leave whatever time you want to leave. You have walls around your own house. No one is really
Well,
bothered.
you can enter whatever time you can enter, but then you have to take your wife permission to leave whenever you want to leave. So that privacy goes away if you're married. Well, jokes apart. But the thing is, if you have a large family, you have kids, you have parents staying with you,
Right.
and you want a space which is usable best, then I think it's the villa that you can go for. And as we were talking about, villas in Dubai are not very expensive. You can start a townhouse. So a community like Damak D2, which is little far, it's almost 35, 40 kilometers from Dubai Marina.
That's right.
But it's the community where once you enter, you have all the facilities.
Okay.
And the townhouses over there, a 3-bedroom townhouse over there starts from 1.1, 1.2 million. You can get it. Rentals over there for a 3-bedroom townhouse is anywhere between 75, 80.
Right.
So it's little far of distance, but if you have your own car, I think it's easyable, it's commutable. You can reach it. And this gives you a big substitute. So service charges, as we were talking, in an apartment, service charges, they start minimum around 12 to 14 dirhams in a community like JVC and Arjan.
Right.
In a townhouse, the service charges is not starting from 2 dirhams per square feet.
Oh wow.
Yes.
That's a massive drop. That's like
massive.
almost 10% of what could be potentially 10 to 15% of what potentially could be the least of service charges.
So, because your gross area is bigger, your plot area is bigger, so your service charges is on that. However, you have a few things. You don't have so much security to maintain. You don't have common areas, no AC in the common areas, no diva bill, which is coming over there. And the maintaining a community is much more easier than maintaining a whole building. The cost of the this thing, it's much more higher. So that's why service charges is much less
Okay.
on that. However, you need to consider, like we were considering pros and cons. So in an apartment, you have biggest advantages if you're looking for rentals. Rental returns are much more better in apartments than in villas.
Okay.
Because the thing is, villas are tentatively for long-term residents.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Apartments are sometimes, you give it on a short-term rental, you furnish them, you give it on short-term rental. Even if you're giving it to a tenant who is looking predominantly 1 or 2 years in the plan that he's here in Dubai, so he pays you extra rent. If you have a community like Dubai Marina or JBR, now you cannot have facilities of beach and JBR kind of facility near a villa because there's no community like this unless you go in JBR. And then, you go in Jumeirah.
Right, or
on the
Palm maybe.
Palm, of course, and the rents are way too high. Yeah. So then it's the apartments that you have to consider. But villas gives you a appreciation wise, villa gives you a much higher appreciation than apartments.
Oh, okay. So when you're selling it, you said appreciation of a villa is much higher. Could you give us an indicator of what is the percentage of appreciation that one can?
So I'll give you the figures from 2020 onwards because that's the easiest way to. So apartments, apart from Palm and Marina, those apartments have gone up around 80 to 90% to 100%, some of them. The other apartment villas which are appreciation is there is almost 200 to 300% in the Palm.
Okay.
Communities like District 1, you're talking about almost 150 to 160% appreciation. This is the price appreciation. And almost all the villas have gone up at least minimum 60 to 70%. You're talking about even the far off communities like Town Square, D2. These all communities have also appreciated around 60 to 70% from 2020.
Wow, this is incredible because when I was looking at D2, and I did have a little bit of an interest in that place because A, price point, B, I am my father's son who loves villas and places which are connected to the ground. So I was definitely keeping a keen eye on that place, and I have seen price rise in the last couple of years, the way it has increased, and I'm surprised that it's a little further away community, but still the appreciation is fabulous.
Yes, and why appreciation is fabulous? Because let's not forget the space, the land in Dubai. It is rare. It's getting scarier and scarier now day by day. So you can always have tall towers coming up. You can always have towers which have space, and you can always launch. But villa space, the land that you own is becoming. So I think in a long-term perspective, I will keep at least 60 to 70% of your investment portfolio in villas. only 20 to 30% I will keep it in an apartment, which also will be on rental return basis, because rental returns are quite high.
Which is true.
Yeah, so in a villa you can expect not more than 6 to 7% rental returns, because you cannot give it on short term rentals. It's logistically impossible to give a villas on short term rentals. Maintaining a villa on your own, the service charges might be less,
Right.
but the maintenance of a villa is little bit higher. It's high. So you, as we said, the cleaning, the landscaping that you have to maintain. The villas are more open space, so you need to have at least a maid with it.
True.
But appreciation wise, I will definitely. So if I'm looking to buy something today, which I have to sell it after, let's say 2 years or 3 years time, I will definitely have some part of that in the villas,
Right.
and into townhouses. And a rental portfolio of mine will be definitely apartments, but that I will limit it to studio and 1 bedroom.
Interesting. We'll go in details about how much of it should be into villa, and and then how much of it is in apartment, and why. The reasoning behind that. We'll try and understand that. Also try dive deeper on the advantages of as far as rental incomes are concerned on an apartment, and how to maximize that. Akash, we're talking about pros and cons of buying an apartment or a villa.
Correct.
People generally do get split, and especially in Dubai, when you have amazing villas that come within your budget at the same amount that you could probably buy a bigger apartment.
Correct.
It's not a bigger split. It's not like, oh, I can get an apartment in X, and to buy a villa I need maybe 200 times X.
Correct.
That divide is not there like in most of the big cities.
So that's what gives them an advantage.
Right.
And like we were talking about cities historically. So when you're talking about New York, what comes to your mind? Apartments.
Apartments.
And when you're talking about Texas, what comes in your mind?
I haven't been there, but I think it should be villas.
It's villas, because that's the land available. It's all over. So this is same thing in Dubai. Is very few countries or cities in the world, that gives you that choice, that you can be in an apartment or a villa. And if you're in the segment between 1 million to 2 million, you get a lot of choices. And then if you go above anything higher, so you have mansions, but you also have penthouses, which is on the palm with their private beaches. And some of the developers are kind of breaking the barriers like anything.
Right.
So you must have heard one of the most expensive apartments for 440 million dirhams, which was sold.
I did hear that.
Yeah, that's the kind of a value of a penthouse in Dubai. So we have a lifestyle which is there, and every lifestyle is different. So the guy who must have bought this penthouse, it is obviously the view, which must have been there. Unbearable. It's right in the middle of the ocean. Then the safety. So it must be a celebrity. We don't know the name, but it must be a celebrity. Forget about finding him in a lobby. They must be having their own private elevators, their own security, their own concierge, which will take them to your house. So this, if you're looking for this kind of privacy lifestyle, which you have in an apartment, you have to go really high. But in a villa, this privacy comes instantly.
Which is true.
Yeah. So your neighbor will hardly see you if you have a closed garage, as you said. You will. It's a kind of what time you're coming, what not. It's not much hassle. Security, yes, a bit, because you're kind of in an open situation. You have an open garden, so your neighbors. But I think Dubai is the most safest city in the world.
I agree.
And you have still go to a villa community. The height of the boundary wall is not. You can just see what is happening inside. It's that easy.
True that.
So in JLT, if you pass the back road, you can actually see the whole meadows villas, and you can see their pool. And this is how people. So again, you need to understand the service charges, the cost of service charges. The service charges is high, but cost of maintaining the inside of the apartment is lower in apartments, higher in villas.
Right.
And rentability is better in apartments. So rental return, if you're looking for, I will suggest apartments. Property appreciation, if you're looking, and that's your more core forte, and you're happy with 5-6% rental returns, then villas.
Interesting. So the decision should not, obviously, is definitely an emotional one when you buy a property, But if you're looking from a returns perspective, then it should be a clear-cut divide on what you want. What is your end objective? Your end objective is rental returns, then apartments. You want property appreciation at the end of probably a few years,
Correct.
then villas. Correct. So this now, I love this conversation, Akash, because we put sense in buying.
Yeah.
Right? We're helping people make that decision. People who are sitting on that fence and trying to understand, what should I buy? Why should I buy? If you're looking to live yourself and have a big family, the decision then is kind of simplified. that hey, villa could be your choice of your buying objective. But tell me something. When someone comes to you with these questions, do you actually sit down and break it down, or do you try and change their mind, or people come with a fixed mindset that, listen, here is my 2 million, I want to buy an apartment, that is it, no conversation?
See, the thing is, there are two kind of people that come to us. One which take our opinion. They ask us for us what kind of investments that we do, and we go through the same process. We explain them, and we go them very calmly because they are first time buyers, or maybe they are confused that whether they have bought something in previously which didn't work, which didn't fall expect their expectations. So we help them understand which is there. But there are people who are decided. They have done their research. They have done everything. They know the pros. They know the cons, and actually, it's especially in this market. If you take too long to decide, so let's say you're talking about, oh wait, I want to go a villa. I've decided my budget is 2.1 million. I want to go for Tilal Al Ghaf. I want to decide. The apartment which is available, or the townhouse which is available 1 hour back, after 1 hour maybe it's sold. And that is how fast the movement is happening. If you look at the various portals or land department's own figures, every day the transactions are going higher and higher and higher. Right. Because there are more people who are deciding. So if you're undecided, I will suggest start your research now. Start talking to people. Start talking to us. Give us a call. Exactly. You looked at pros and cons. We looked at your budget. We decide you few options, both apartments and villas. Start looking at it, and you can take your conversation based on that. But just keep it in mind: the market is going up for all. Right. In terms of appreciation, as I said, apartments have not appreciated, but there could be a wave of people which will start focusing on affordable apartments, and which we are seeing slowly. A lot of JVC kind of community, which I think has a tremendous potential for appreciation. You have JLT and Marina, which is almost selling twice the amount of JVC, and it's interesting for JVC people that they hold on to their properties now. If they have not sold, or if they are thinking of buying, they should do it immediately, because I think the next wave of appreciation will come towards that community for sure.
This is interesting. We always talk about communities. You do give us hints and thoughts about various communities. We'll take a quick break and come back. And when we come back, we'll talk about communities. And during that, I would want you to scratch your brains and tell us communities for villas and apartments.
Yes, so today we have a bonus. Since we are discussing about apartments and villas, so we'll discuss about two communities of the week.
That's right.
One is which is the community of the week for apartments, and community of the week for villas.
Akash, today is Women's Day, right? We're obviously celebrating Women's Day. We're talking to so many women. Tell me something. With Skyview Real Estate, what is the percentage of women who actually come to buy properties, and what is the percentage of women working with Skyview Real Estate?
Well, the thing is, I think women played a very important role in my life. It plays in everybody's life. In my life, I have been raised by a very strong woman, my mom, I think, and then I'm married to someone who's been very strong, and she's taking care of 3 boys, still working with us on the time she finds it. But I think in Skyview, we give equal opportunities to all, and I'm very happy to say today we have more than 50% women staff.
Oh, fabulous.
Whether it is admin, whether it is HR, whether it is sales, everybody gets equal opportunities. And the thing is, we understand, women, even if you're working, you go through a lot. You have your children, you have to take care of the family, and there are a lot of responsibilities, and still you work. You find time to do all this, and I think women do that brilliantly. It comes naturally to them, and hats up. I think it's a unfair day that we only celebrate one day. It should be more, but then whatever way to remind them they are special. I think it's very happy Women's Day to everybody who's listening.
That's so true. Yes, the whole year should be celebrated, and rightly so. We have women in all walks of life today, literally matching toe to toe with their male counterparts, and it's just unfair to, like you rightly mentioned, to celebrate just one day. Correct. The whole year, the whole lifetime should be celebrated. To celebrate, there's one way to go out and throw a party, but at the same time, to celebrate, the other way is to go and buy a property. Oh, right? And now it's time to go and talk about the community of the week.
Well, as we said, we are the community of the week. This week, we are discussing about 2 communities, since it's apartment versus villas. So we are going to go traditional communities. I think Dubai Marina. Okay. It's one of the first apartment community that it comes to everybody's mind. I think Dubai Marina kind of changed the landscape of Dubai when it was initially launched in 2002. I still remember the first image where Sheikh Mohammed and His Highness Sheikh Mohammed opened the canal, the Dubai Marina to fill up, and there was a drench, and that changed the way freehold properties are looked in Dubai, and that's one community where you can get penthouses, properties with a full marina view. You have your own yacht bay club. Then you have apartments starting from almost studio will be around 1.1 million. Rental returns are very high in marina because of the holiday home, and then you have the JBR beach, which is walking distance. So it makes marina very cosmopolitan, very much open space. You have restaurant, diners, clubs, supermarkets. This community has everything. Access to metro, only community which has metro and monorail connected to it. So it's very easy to commute from anywhere. It's very close to Media City and all. So traditionally, but it's getting a little bit congested because there are a lot of tall buildings which are there. And obviously, if you're looking for something a little bit more congestion free, then you have another community of the week, which is Emirates Living, Springs and Meadows.
All right.
Not very far from Marina.
True that.
And Springs property prices have appreciated, as I said, keeping in mind all the villas. It has gone up almost 80%, 80 to 150%, depending on which this thing you're taking. So a 2-bedroom townhouse in Springs today, you can get it anywhere between 1.9 to 2.2 million, depending on which location. That's a type 4M and a 4E. Then you have bigger villas called Meadows, which the cheapest villas you can get is something around 5 million. It's an individual villa, it's not a townhouse. Then you have more premium lakes villas, which is Hatan. Then Hatan is anywhere between 20-25 million. And so I think these two communities are very traditional, but still hold a lot of value and a lot of appreciation. So I think the best example, what we discussed, rental returns is very good in Marina because of short-term rentals, and property appreciation is very good in lakes and meadows. So I think two communities for the week.
This is so cool. This is so cool. You know, I loved this conversation that we had today. Anyone who always is in a split, if to buy an apartment or to buy a villa, what we done in today's show we've actually cut it down, simplified the entire thought process, given pros and cons of both apartments and villas, tried to understand which way to steer if you are looking to buy a property, and obviously depending on budget and your end objectives. If you are looking, if we were to recap, if you're looking for high rental incomes and your budgets are probably a little lower, then in that case, yes, apartments is the way to go. If you have a little more budget and are looking for higher property gains, capital gains in probably when you're looking to sell your villas and stuff, then obviously villa is the place to be. Two communities that we spoke about, the marina if you are looking for apartments, and obviously the springs and the meadows if you are looking for villas. I'm so glad that you come in, Akash, and have this conversation with us. You simplify the process of buying.
Correct. I mean, that's what brokers are for. We are there to simplify. We are there to guide you. We are not there to take decision on your basis.
Right.
I mean, we shouldn't. And you shouldn't fall for all those schemes where people say, oh, the last unit, you need to buy now and the appreciation will be guaranteed 100%. No one is going to guarantee this. You need to look at the pros and the cons. And you need to take a decision where you feel the most comfortable in.
Right.
Don't overstress yourself. Don't think that, oh, wait, the property prices are appreciating in this segment more than I should be buying. If you don't have a budget, don't go. Look at your budget. It's a time. Dubai is not there for 5 years, 10 years. I'm sure Dubai market is going to be there for a very long time. This freehold market is there, going to give you good assurance, good returns all over the time.
This is amazing. Thank you so much, Akash, for joining us today yet again on Talk Real Estate. It's always a pleasure. Again, we see you next Wednesday when we come and discuss have more conversations about buying real estate. And if you are, meanwhile, thinking of buying a property, or even if you're curious about buying a property, it's not necessary that you have wads of cash in your bank right now. Right. But if you are in the process, or probably even 3 months down the line, you want to buy a property, you have to start today. Call them 050-2859-321. The number is 050-2859-321.
So every week, as we said, we come up with a different topic. So I think for next week, listeners can suggest us something that they want to listen about. They have some conversation or some topic that they want to discuss they want us to discuss on the air. Yeah, anything that you can suggest. Obviously, we will come up with interesting topics. But is there anything special that a listener wants to find it out, more information? Please suggest us the topic to discuss.
Obviously, yes. Your opportunity to be a part of our conversations. 050 08586861003. That's our WhatsApp number. You can reach us on that number as well. Tell us what you want to know, what are your queries, and we'll be happy to get those responses from Akash Kanjwani from Skyview Real Estate. Thank you so much, Akash, for joining us.
Thank you.
For yet another fantastic episode of Talk Real Estate right here.